Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the One Nation of Gamers 2016 circuit. We're about to jump into the final match of Future Tournament number 2 to determine the champion. Once again, I'm TJ, and I am joined by That's Admirable Nathan. That's Admirable Zamora, champion of the West.
Is that what they call me?
That's what they call you on the streets.
That's right. I am the champion of the West. 0 tournament victories thus far in Hearthstone, but plenty of top 8s and top 16s in the big Blizzard events, but not quite that big finish I'm looking for.
All right, well, I know 2 people that are looking for that big finish, and that's going to be Zalay and Dog. They've had, some good finishes, but I know, to say the least. But I know they want to add one more onto that resume, and I know exactly what tournament that one more is, and that's the feature tournament number 2 of the 2016 One Nation of Gamers circuit. And they also want to qualify for PAX and win that as well. It's a $25,000 premier tournament, so lots on the line for these players. The difference between first and second place is $3,000 for first, $1,500 for second, and of course that PAX Prime qualification. So I'd say this is a pretty big deal, Admirable.
Yeah, and they're looking to take the lead in their lifetime matches as well. 2 matches apiece for them in the past. So the winner of this one takes that 3-2 lead in matchups. And to me, that's the more important one, is being able to say, hey, I've won more than you than we've met in the past.
Yeah,
think about that. Just let that loom over your head for a second.
Yeah, and another thing, these 2 players were the 2 invited players. So one thing that I like to keep track of is how many of the open players make it into the finals and how many of the invited players. And so far, it's been a large mix. Over the course of the last season, the circuit in 2015 for One Nation of Gamers, and if you look back at the first feature tournament for 2016, it's been a good mix. We have Eversiction, who's already qualified. He made it through an open tournament. So now I guess we have 2 invited players in here. It's only fitting that for the second feature, we have an invited player to make it in. So I'm looking for that really strong lineup to see at PAX Prime for that finals at the end of the year. And I would love to see either Zalay or Dog make it into that group of players. Yeah,
anytime you see these 2 competing in an event, they're always a threat to win the whole thing. And when I talk about threat to win the whole thing, I don't mean like, oh, yeah, sure, anyone can win the event. It's Hearthstone. I mean, if I have to pick a player who I think is going to win, these 2 guys' name pop to the forefront of my mind. They've just had such fantastic years in the last 2. Zalay was actually number 1 in points in 2015. Dog has just been on fire since last summer, putting up finish after finish. And Zalay just continues to improve his play. He's one of the strongest technical players out there, I think. He's never going to shy away from being patient. He's not someone who's going to get rushed. He doesn't get tilted. As far as the mental aspect is concerned, he might be the strongest mental player that's out there. But in terms of finishes right now, Dog has just been on fire for months on end.
Yeah, even like last season, I believe he got a top 100 finish in March, which for a player that streams as much as he does is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Not only did he get that top 100 finish, but actually in the closing hours, you'll find a lot of people who are top 100, they just wait. There's no incentive for them to play.
They don't
Dog was just streaming his matches, playing in the top 25 with no delay. He was just playing.
Yeah, he was like at 22, and he was streaming. He was at 22. There was like 45 minutes left. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna queue. Like, who does that? Like, you're only gonna gain like 5 points by like winning again, and you're gonna lose like 60 if you lose a match at that rating that close at the end of the season. So, bold call by him, and I really like his sort of attitude and his play style. But we are going to jump into the first match here. It's going to be Dog's mid-range Paladin versus Zalay's Secret Paladin.
Yeah, this is one I don't have a ton of experience with. I mean, if you're familiar with me at all, I'm not a big fan of these slower decks right now. I think that the aggro decks are so strong, and it's very difficult to justify not playing them. But Dog has brought quite a wealth of control decks into his lineup, and he's been doing great with them so far. And this could be one of the reasons why. I mean, this turn, it's looking good for Zalay. Does get to chew up this board a little bit, but Dog really has kind of the control over this game right now, I'd say. I mean, Zalay has 2 copies of Coghammer in hand. Does have Mysterious Challenger here on 5. But Dog has got Consecrate. He's got Iron Begal. He's got Aldor Peacekeeper in his hand. I mean, what is actually a threat versus him right now?
Nothing. And that's what it seems like with mid-range Paladin. They just have so many ways to just remove. they have outdoor peacekeepers to just sort of stall, and then eventually, if you make it past all that stuff, and you get past the owl, you get past the owl door, those are quality consecrate your board, and you have to start from scratch. So,
Wow.
this deck's been performing extremely well for Dog over the course of the weekend.
Picks up the big game hunter here too. So if he can find a way to actually proc the noble sacrifice while the mysterious challenger is isolated, he's got another answer to that. I mean, it's looking pretty good for him. But this turn, he's actually agonizing over this one a bit. I think he's reluctant to play this Aldor Peacekeeper, but it's looking like the play to me.
Yeah. He knows, well, I don't know. I was going to say he knows that he has a play for Mysterious Challenger. I suppose he still does. Just, depends where this Avenge falls, I guess, if Zalay does decide to play Mysterious Challenger. If it falls on the Keeper of Oldman, then all of a sudden there's no BGH target, and that Keeper of Oldman is going to prove to be an issue.
Yeah, this went from like the 50% chance for Dog to have, for the 100% chance for Dog to have a great position to suddenly 50% chance. And I think that's where the expression came from, is he knows that he's vulnerable in this spot. Picks up second Eldor Peacekeeper, though.
Ooh, so that means he has an out no matter what, but he still wants this to go on to the Mysterious Challenger. Let's see.
And it does. Great turn now from Dog. I mean, this went from potentially like a close, tough turn for him to suddenly he is so far ahead at this point. And you can see it in Zalay's face, too. He's like, yeah, this is pretty much the one thing I didn't want to happen. And the fact that he drew Redemption on the turn he played the turn before he played the Mysterious Challenger 2, that's a big setback to him. It's the difference between having a 6-1 and having not a 6-1 on the table right now.
Yeah, losing your board here as the Secret Paladin is one of the worst things that can happen, because it's so hard for you to reload. Especially if you have something that's isolated, it makes it so easy for the mid-range Paladin to just remove.
Yep. Still plenty of play this turn for Zalay, though. I mean, Dog's kind of lacking action, honestly. The one thing he doesn't have is a big threat right now. Time is really, I feel like, the biggest threat from Dog. If he's able to extend the game long enough, it's got to be massively in his favor.
Yeah. I'd say so. And Zalay just doesn't know what to do here. I mean, Coghammer, you got to get those rolling. I think it's whether or not he wants to sort of like play the Knife Juggler first, maybe, or even hold on to the Knife Juggler potentially. But since he's going to play the Redemption, he wants to make sure that he has good targets on the board to get redeemed.
Yeah, just leaves the 1-1 up. Not really too big of a deal for him. And Dog just draws more heal. I mean, no threat this turn is kind of an issue.
Yeah, it is. Means you give a sort of a free turn over to Zalay to do whatever he wants with. And, I mean, you're going into turn 7. You can only expect. Mysterious Challenger was played. It's in the deck. Dr. Boom's coming.
Yeah, that's really the big advantage I think that Secret Paladin has, is past turn 6, their card quality just goes way up if they play Mysterious Challenger.
Yeah.
Second Keeper of Voldemort. I mean, this might be a second Coghammer here for Zalay. I don't know, though. I mean, with the way that panned out, he maybe just be eyeing the Lotheb and thinking this could be his turn to push.
And I think he's got to go for
juggle.
it.
That's a nice juggle. Hitting that antique heal bot.
Might be turning around a little bit.
Yeah. Using the 2-4 to clear here, I don't mind this. The Knife Juggler, though, I think this is pointed at the dome. Yep. This is looking rough. Eldor Peacekeeper can cut into the damage a bit, but he's losing the board position, and that's something that's very dangerous. Is that if this builds too much, it's just going to be overwhelming. I mean, sure, he's got my own hands. Sure, he's got Consecrate, but this is the spot where if Zalay starts drawing his big threats, Dog's in a lot of trouble.
Yes, he is. And you don't want to just throw all of your threats out, because you know that your outs in this situation are sort of like board clears. And if you just throw your stuff out to get killed, then it makes like the board clears feel less good, because you don't have the stuff to reload. So I like that he just sort of holds on to the Knife Juggler here because that can get a lot more value as the game goes on. If he draws into a muster for battle, if he draws into a board clear and can reload, the Knife Juggler is going to come into play. And the 2 juggles that he would get from playing it that turn would probably be inconsequential. But I like that he holds on to it.
More sniping juggles here from Zalay. He's had high % chance to make a big impact to that Knife Juggler. He finally misses one, but...
I don't know if that's a miss. I think anything that goes to the face is right on target.
Just take the damage. Why not?
Yeah.
We don't need to kill minions. Yeah, 1/1's going to bite the dust here. And it's looking like Lotheb's lined up in that other 1/1 as well. Just keep your board protected and start hammering away. Mm-hmm. And that Knife Juggler's actually, in the face of Consecrate, it's going to be the first one to die. So it even has a redemption set up for the Knife Juggler at this point. And I don't think Dog has an option. He's just got to lay on hands.
Got to find that equality.
At this point, 11 points of damage here, too.
Yeah, at this point, it's a necessity. Finds the zombie chow. That little guy's going to do his best to fight back on this board.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough one to fight back with, though. Zalay's about to have 7 minions in play.
He's also going to push so much damage this turn.
Yeah, this is looking ugly for Dog, that's for sure. This is that first juggle. I mean, maybe it's not a miss. I don't know. It's tough to tell what he wants. I mean, I imagine he wants to kill the zombie chow here.
Yeah, he just wants at least one of those juggles to hit the zombie chow. That's what he's looking for.
Anytime Pilot Shredder attacks and it's unchecked, it is a miserable feeling. Dog pretty much needs equality right here.
Yeah.
Even equality, it doesn't even really answer the entire board, though. I mean, Dog's getting a 3/1 back. He's got a 2/2 shield. He's got a 1/4 shield. He's got a Pilot Shredder drop. He's got Keeper Voldemort in his hand.
I mean, he could silence and then equality consecrate, so he can eliminate some of this, like some of the residual damage.
I wonder if there's ever an argument for equality in Knife Juggler.
There's a lot of stuff on board. That Knife Juggler can... I mean, if it hits either of the Divine Shields and then hits, like, the Piloted Shredder, you're looking at a rough spot, especially since it hits Piloted Shredder first. Knife Juggler could come out and hit it, so... Okay, it doesn't even use the Iron Beak Owl, so just going to go ahead and take whatever comes out of this Piloted Shredder.
Yeah, there's the redemption. 3/1. 2/1 back behind this. And Knife Juggler's not looking so bad here. Ooh, snipes at 3/1 too.
Best target.
Oh! Oh, gosh. That is a disgusting good draw.
You talked about earlier that Zalay loves to ask himself questions, and I'm sure as soon as that came out, he's like, is that good?
Is this one okay?
Is this good?
Is this the one I needed? I feel like this was the one I needed.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay. I guess I'll play Dr. Boob. Whew. Wow. I mean, this is almost completely lights out at this point. Dog's down at 12. You're looking at maximum 2 cards he can play in a single turn, and none of them really affect the board state. I mean, Tyrion's a big taunt. It gives you Ashbringer, but when your opponent's out of range and you're the one getting beat down, that Tyrion does not look nearly as good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to play it just to sort of fight back here, but yeah, is it too late? Sounds as a boom, but oh man, that never feels good.
Keeper Voldemort can chew in this damage too. Is this lethal here?
I think it is with Keeper because you can throw that. You can throw one of the 1/1s in, guarantee that last boombot goes to face.
Yeah, I think this is lethal here.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. Even regardless of where the boombot goes, it's lethal.
Yeah. And that's going to be Zalay taking game number 1 in a grueling match. You know, yeah.
Oh, this is lethal. I think Zalay's just counting it 4 or 5 times to make sure.
Yeah, he could have guaranteed that boombot went face, but it doesn't matter at all. So just double checking, and yeah, Zalay takes game number 1.
Very clean game for him. I mean, that Dr. Boom pickup was just so sick. I mean, granted, second Mysterious Challenger is pretty good. His own Tyrion draw is fantastic as well. We haven't seen Ragnaros from him, but that's not to say it's not in the build. He does have 2 copies of Coghammer. I would tend to say it's probably not in the build when I see 2 Coghammers, but either way, fairly high threat density towards the end. But Dr. Boom was just the lights out one. I mean, there was no coming back for Dog after that one.
Yeah,
already used both Outdoor Peacekeepers, already used Capable Demonic. Quality was down.
All right, well,